Okay, so today I just released the pattern on my website for the Peekaboo Beauty Bag. The materials needed are listed in the pattern, and then all of the cut pieces are with the pattern as well. All the pattern pieces, I should say. I'm trying to get the light to not be so weird. It's because I'm wearing a black shirt. Anyway, so I've got two exterior main fabric pieces cut to 8 by 10. They're fused with SF101 and 809. SF101, 809. And then I've got a total of 4, but 2 each of the exterior vinyl accent pieces. So we've got one square cut out here, and then another square cut out here. And then I need 2 lining pieces with the square cut out. So I've got those all ready to go. Maybe if I turn off this light. Yeah, that makes it a lot better. So all my pieces ready to go, and then I need a zipper that is 14 inches or longer. I like the look of the handbag zippers, but you can use an all-purpose zipper. You'll just want to adjust the seam allowances a little bit. Not by much though. So to start, I'm going to lay one of the vinyl accent pieces with, and I'll read the pattern out loud to kind of go with you guys too. Hi. Oh. So this pattern is now available. I just uploaded it today. My sister literally just helped me with all the typos and whatnot. So lay one of the accent vinyl pieces right side down on the main panel, lining up the 10-inch sides. The outer square should be facing the inside of the panel. So that's how that goes. Hi! Okay, so the square is facing inside. And then you're going to sew yeah, 1/2 inch seam allowance. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. I'm gonna trim that, and then you will open the seam so that it faces towards the outside of the bag, and then top stitch 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Hi, Laura. So this seam is facing out. Let's see, sorry guys. Hey, that's much better. Okay, so this seam is pointing out, and we're gonna sew on top of the vinyl. And there are diagrams on the pattern that'll help you guys too. So that's how that looks, all top stitched. And then you repeat the pieces. So this is what your finished pattern piece would look like. You want the squares on the outside. So this one gets laid down over top as well. And then you're going to repeat and sew at 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then you want to make sure your seam is pointing out and turn it over. This gives your vinyl a really nice finished edge. If you wanted to, you could also like add piping here and give it a little bit of a pop. Oh, thanks, Kelly. Yeah, I designed the pattern to be really easy for your first time working with vinyl, since it's super simple, and if you haven't used vinyl before, you will want to use like a walking foot. Sometimes a Teflon foot helps, but I think a walking foot is best. So here is what this piece looks like for the Peekaboo Beauty Bag. This is piece 1, and that just took it just took a few minutes. And then we repeat all of those steps with the second main panel piece. And what's really fun is that it only uses a little bit of an exterior pattern of the fabric. So if you've got like a t-shirt that you want to turn into a makeup bag, it's totally doable. I just think it's a really fun way to use up scraps of fabric you like. And it also looks super fancy because you use vinyl. Okay, so repeating these steps. Okay. And your squares should match. You don't want a square up here and a square down here or anything. And then make sure your seam is facing out. And then your second pattern piece is finished. And that's the exterior. And that took like, what, 2 minutes? Easy. So I'm gonna grab one of these and I'm gonna flip over to the next page. And the pattern altogether is literally 8 pages. You can print them all out, or you can look at it on your phone or something. It's kind of nice. So you want to take one of your main panels and set it right side up, and then take one of your zippers and lay it with the teeth facing down. Yep, Lauren, I literally released it right before I went live. You want to lay your zipper over top. Line up the zipper tape with the top of the bag, and then I'm just going to clip it in place. And so with about 1/8 of an inch, just to kind of base the zipper there. Okay. And then I'm going to grab one of the lining pieces and lay it wrong side up over the top, and then clip it. And then you want to flip it over so that you can see where you just stitched. I called it the Peekaboo Beauty Bag because of how little main fabric it uses, and it's just kind of like a little peekaboo of fabric. Plus it sounded really cute. Okay, so then you want to stitch 1/4 of an inch. And I sew the lining separate to the exterior so that your zipper doesn't get wonky or shift between the layers. And then what you want to do is open it, and then I like to iron it from the lining side. But you'll top stitch over both the lining and the outside of the bag. that. Okay. So there's that. You're lining your exterior. You'll grab your other exterior piece and lay it down like that. Line up the zipper tape with the top. And if you feel like your zipper won't shift, you're more than welcome to skip the step where you baste it into place. I always like to, just because I hate a wonky zipper. And there's that. I'm going to lay this on there. I ran out of bobbin thread. That happens. It's okay, I've got more. Happening. Okay. Technical difficulties, they happen. Makes it a more realistic sewing time, huh? Okay, we'll try that again. Now we're happy. Okay. So then I'm gonna iron it open again. And top stitch. Okay, so now we are ready to flip to the next page and attach all the sides together. So make sure your zipper teeth are pointing towards the lining of the bag. Zipper teeth pointing up. Line up my vinyl, add a clip. Make sure your corners line up together. Zipper teeth pointing up, corners line up. I wish the lighting wasn't so terrible. I don't know what to do. Will this help? Maybe it'll keep it focused? No, that made it way worse. Okay. Okay. So I want to leave a 4-inch opening in the bottom, and you can measure it or not, of course. I'm just going to go ahead and make little marks. I'm going to switch to a smaller stitch length since I'm not top stitching. And I'm going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance for this part. I'm going to back stitch at the opening so that it's reinforced. And then for this part, I leave my needle in the fabric and then I just turn the corner and bring them together like that so that I don't have to take my stitching out, and then my corners are easier to line up. So leave it in. If you have to lift the presser foot, you can, but again, I just kind of bring in that corner. Then I'm going to trim down the seam allowance to about 1/8 of an inch or so. Make sure you don't cut through these stitches because it makes it easier to make the bottom corners a square, in my opinion. Okay. And then open it up and line up those center seams. I add 3 clips. 1, 2, 3. And you can either sew it and then reuse those clips, or get all your corners together and then sew them all at once. The pattern does say if you would like your bag to be a little sturdier, you can add fusible fleece, and you'll want to do that right before you attach the zipper if you decide to do that. I like the bag without it. It still has a lot of shape because of the 809, and then of course when you're using a thick vinyl, it gives it a lot of body. So we're going to stitch over this at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I start and back stitch at the beginning. I like to do it again over the seam, and then again. So you just stitch right over that, just down like that. I don't trim the seam allowance, but you can. I like that it gives the corners a little more of a reinforcement. What's also nice about this pattern is if you would like to not use the pattern pieces and just kind of use your ruler to cut out the pieces, you totally can. All of the measurements are on the pattern pieces, and you'll just want to cut out the 2.5 inch corners. Came out again. It's okay, I wouldn't actually be sewing if there weren't some little mess ups. Am I right? Okay. So all 4 corners are stitched up now. Hi guys. And you're going to turn it through that 4-inch opening. Kind of unzip your zipper. Pull it through. You can use fusible vinyl to the lining if you want to make it wipeable, or you can use oilcloth if you wanted to. So I'm going to poke out all my corners. Like that. Like that. And then I'm going to iron this opening down, stick in all my raw edges. Iron it. If you used wipeable fabric, use a pressing cloth before you iron. You definitely don't want to mess that up. And then I'm going to sew up that hole in the lining. You can use a zigzag stitch if you want, or you can just use a straight stitch. If you've got like a woven tag you want to add, that would be a really good time to do it in the lining. And then you stick it all inside the bag. You can lift it up over your head if it makes it easier. And then zip it up. You are done. It is complete. It didn't take long at all. Pretty awesome, huh? So it's 14 inches wide. It's 7 inches tall, and then it's got like a 4.5 inch wide bottom. Trying to get it straight. So here's a pair of scissors there. I was actually able to get like a bottle of hairspray, makeup palettes, a bunch of makeup brushes, and like if you fill this thing, you can get a lot in there. You could also kind of play with the pattern piece sizes, enlarge it, make it smaller, make different sizes. You could add a little a D-ring tab to the side so that you can make like a wrist strap to go with it. But that's it. That's the pattern, and it took less than 25 minutes to make. And it's so cute. You could add a zipper pull, all kinds of stuff. There it is. Alright, thank you guys. See you later.